Hello. I today have been on some diversity awareness training. Well, actually, I've just had to do some online training, which we get. And before I start this, I'm just going to say that the company that I work for, that have given me a job through lockdown, are wonderful. They are absolutely fantastic. I'm not taking the piss. They are genuinely lovely. I've had a bad back for a couple of weeks now, and they have been just superb about it. They have been so nice about it. They've been finding things that I can do rather than me not being at work. But they gave me, like, you know, over a week off without any arguments at all. I'm now on limited hours when I'm back, you know, and limited duties. They are sweethearts, and I couldn't wish for a nicer employer. Having said that, they're quite a large company, and they have, as you might imagine, some wokeness attached to their training modules. So today was, awareness of diversity, inclusion, all that sort of stuff. And I was going through it, and I just had to make a couple of notes. At no stage did I have to sign anything that says I agree to what they're saying. It's just I have watched it, and that's it. So I'm glad it didn't come to that, because I might have had to disagree and not sign it. On sexual discrimination, in this training, there's a chap called David, and David was arranging a leaving present for one of the ladies that worked there, some chocolates and flowers and stuff like that, and he got a card, and he thought of one of these other ladies that works there. He thought that she might be better at coming up with some really nice, sort of genuine, sort of sincere, caring message, because he thought she'd be good at it. Because what he did there, he committed a terrible sin of believing that there's a difference between men and women, and that women are more empathetic and just generally a bit nicer and cuddlier than men, because, you know, they are. Anyway, what David didn't realise, is that Leanne was a feminist. And when he said that to her, she was outraged and complained to the management and human resources. So he had to go on some realignment training to be able to work out what he had done wrong. And he had to apologise to her. And this is where I don't believe this story, because then she accepted his apology. So that's a bullshit story, because a feminist wouldn't have ever accepted his apology. She would have taken that as an admission of guilt and attacked him and ruined his life. For the record, feminists, I'm a feminist if we're talking about like first and second wave feminism. Just that equality kind of thing. Yeah, work if you want to work, have babies if you want to have babies. You know, basically, you do you, I'll do me, and we'll take away these hurdles that stop you from, you know, going to work for a living if you want to, and not be a, you know, stay-at-home mum. Okay? Anyway. What we also found out in this thing is that female hurricanes are more deadly. So you know this thing, obviously, that storms get names. And these people have done this research, and they believe that this is money. Whoever paid for this research is well spent. Money well spent. They've come to the conclusion that, because they go boy, girl, or girl, boy, whatever. I don't want to say which one comes first, because that would be assuming some sort of form of priority between the sexes, and they're all the same. We should start really with some sort of gender neutral names, shouldn't they, and ease into it. But apparently when people know that there's a female storm, they think of women as being more fluffy and nice, and so it won't be very bad. Is that true? That can't be true. I mean, if you just hear a storm's on the way, you go, okay, better take care. I mean, I live in the UK. When we have storms coming, it's like, all right then, I'll wear a jacket. I won't take the umbrella. Anyway, let's have a look. What else did we have? Affirmative action. Expect anger. She is right now. Oh, no, I'm not even understanding my own notes. Oh yeah, here we go. Yes, so this one was more about. This was to do with race awareness. Okay, and what it's very, very clear that it says nobody can be prejudiced against no matter what race they are. Okay, but these companies still have affirmative action, which is slightly hypocritical, isn't it? Anyway, so there was Black Lady, And she was really, really pleased that she'd been put forward, like nominated in a group she was in to lead something or to go on a course like that. And she felt really, really good about it. And then she found out the reason why she'd been put forward for it is because they wanted some diversity there. So the affirmative action hurt her feelings, because then she found out that it wasn't based on her merits of her being good at her job and talented. It was because she was black that she was getting this leg up. She then asked a colleague, a friend of hers that she worked for a long time, is this true? And her friend is the bad person here, because she didn't know how to talk about it, because she's not the one that told her it's because of her race. She just was asked about it, and she's like, she just didn't know how to deal with the situation, because it's like she's tying herself in knots, because from probably as long as she can remember, she's sort of been told through social conditioning, through school, education and the media, that somehow she's bad because she's white. It's in there, it's the training in there, it's your white guilt. Get it in there from childhood. And so she didn't know how to respond, so she sort of avoided talking to her. So later on, as I pointed out, that she's a really terrible person because she didn't have the courage to have an honest and frank conversation. But how could you possibly know what to say to somebody who's a nice person? And who knows, that black lady, she might have been really, really good at her job, but then she thinks that she got this pay rise or whatever it was, this step up because of the colour of her skin. You see the problem you're creating here, people. The people, I mean, the higher-ups that are making these decisions based on these intersectionality, these immute characteristics that have nothing to do with someone's ability to do their job. So basically, this woman had to apologise. She had to be retrained on how to speak to her colleague and tell her that she only got this thing because of affirmative action. What nonsense are we playing here? Mind games. Is it just to terrify anyone to talk to somebody from a different race or not? I mean, God, what else did I make it up of? Oh, we had a whole Black Lives Matter thing. So, yeah, George Floyd is a saint. George Floyd was a piece of shit. An absolute garbage human being, but he still didn't deserve to die. And I do believe he was unlawfully killed. I know he was going to die anyway from the amount of drugs that are in his system. And I know that the media has ignored the body cam footage. It showed that the police officer was actually really trying to save his life for a long time. Still doesn't excuse putting your knee in his neck for 8 minutes. But he wasn't murdered, was he? He was unlawfully killed. Bad killing, you know? All deaths are bad. Anyway, there's me digging myself out of a hole there. Peaceful protests. So in my training at work, it's telling me how peaceful the protests were all summer long. Madness. Anyway, and then we had there's obviously this black lady that from England that obviously I'm sure personally knew George Floyd, have her world ripped apart by him dying, had to start crying on camera to say how awful it is when she feels like there's not very many black people around her. I just don't know. I suppose the solution is, the drastic way to do it would be to make all the white people go away, wouldn't it? And bring all more black people in. She might feel better then. I'm so sorry, darling, that you came to a country that is, predominantly... Well, she's born here, but, that your parents came to a country that's predominantly white. We're so sorry for being white, making you feel uncomfortable. Jesus, we're awful, aren't we? I wrote down this statistic that they had on there. Sorry, this video is rambling as usual. Welcome to Winston Smith's Taxi. That it was proof that companies that really, really adopt diversity, like really bend over backwards to do the intersectionality stuff, and I'm assuming the affirmative action, they have a 35% chance of being better, outperforming companies that do not. And I thought, well, that's good, 35%. And I'm thinking, so does that mean that 65% of them underperform? I don't know. I could be wrong. There could be another, factor to it. But I was just thinking to myself, so that are they underperforming? Because they're all wrapped up in intersectionality and just making people's immutable characteristics or their sexual orientation or their gender or their age or their height or their abilities to do jobs more important than just doing the fucking job. Oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, I'm going to go and educate myself on how not to be such a racist gammon and a xenophobe and a sexist, misogynist asshole. And I hope you all have a good day. Bye.